Merry Christmas. I hope you are having a lovely season celebrating the birth of Jesus wherever in the world you are. For this week's video, I thought we would do something a little more casual and a little different. I found some of the Guinness World Record holders in writing, and I thought I would share those with you today, just for something fun. All of this information comes from the website guinnessworldrecord.com. I'll link to them in the description below in case you want to find other world record holders in writing that you never even knew existed. Well, to get us started, I thought we would begin with some inspiration for writing. You're never too young and you're never too old to write your book. If you're on the young end of that spectrum, then maybe you will be inspired by the boy who holds the record for being the youngest author in the world. You want to take a guess at how old he was when he earned that distinction? How about 4 years, 218 days? That's right, less than 5 years old, and little Saeed Rashid Al-Meri, who's from Abu Dhabi of the United Arab Emirates, he won the distinction for being the youngest author. He earned that in 2023 with his children's book, which is called The Elephant, Saeed, and the Bear, which is a sweet little children's story about two animals and friendship. Oh, and he sold more than 1,000 copies of his book. But let's go to the other end of the spectrum. Who do you think is the oldest author, the oldest world record holder? Well, that distinction, of course, not surprisingly, goes to a centenarian. The oldest verified author is a man from the United States named Jim Downing, who wrote a book entitled The Other Side of Infamy, which was accepted for publication when he was 102 years old and 176 days. No excuses. If you want to write your book, you're never too old. But do you know that Jim was not actually the oldest author? That distinction goes to a woman. So Louise Delaney's second book, the Delaney Sisters' Book of Everyday Wisdom, was published in 1994 when she was 105 years old. Oh, and she wrote the book with her 103-year-old sister, Elizabeth Delaney. So if you're feeling old, well, maybe you still have a book left in you too. Well, around here we celebrate writings of all kinds. So do you know the shortest title of a movie? Well, that distinction goes to a 1970 film called Z. That's right, it's one letter long. The movie came out of Greece and it was nominated for an Academy Award. Well, what about the longest book title? Well, that distinction was earned by a man from India in 2021. The book is 27,978 characters long. And here's the first part of the title. Stock Price Prediction, a referential approach on how to predict the stock price using, and then the title continues, actually listing the various tools that economists use to predict the stock market. It's hard to believe that it's a book about stocks that's actually written for beginners. Well, here's a fun one. Have you ever wondered what the thickest book ever published was? You might notice my recently acquired collection of all the Jane Austen books up here. Now, it's pretty thick, but it's not even close to the world record holder for the thickest book. Any guesses as to what that might be? Well, if you guessed a collection of Agatha Christie's Miss Marple mysteries, then you would be right. The book holds all 12 novels and 20 short stories that feature the sleuth Miss Marple. Weighing in at nearly 18 pounds, the book has 4,032 pages. That ought to scratch the itch of any reader. It also includes 68 crimes, 59 red herrings, and 43 murders solved, along with the British touch of 143 cups of tea. Well, there were 500 limited edition copies of this book published by HarperCollins and sold for £1,000 each. Well, let's shift gears now and talk about songs. I know that you've been hearing lots of Christmas music, but who is the world record holder for writing the most songs on consecutive days? Well, that distinction, most consecutive days writing songs, goes to Jonathan Mann. And I'll link to his YouTube channel in the description in case you want to see this amazing feat for yourself. Well, he earned the title after writing a song every day for 5,186 days straight. Wrote a song every single day. This was his Song a Day project. He started it on January 1st of 2009, and he's still at it 16 years later. Now that is dedication to your craft. Well, as authors, we also like sales. So what is the highest grossing entertainment title? Well, that distinction actually goes to a musical. It's the stage version of Disney's The Lion King. With music written by Sir Elton John and lyrics by Tim Rice, it was sure to be an entertainment powerhouse. But this one has grossed more than $9 billion since opening on Broadway in November of 1997. And that makes this production the most successful single entertainment title, surpassing the gross of any movie, book, video game, stage production, or any other entertainment title in history. For those of you that are children's authors, the best-selling children's fiction world record holder goes to the book Miss Peregrine's Home for Peculiar Children. It was written by Ransom Riggs from the United States, and it sold more than 1 million copies in 2016. Now, it was originally published in 2011, but when the movie came out, the book also had a resurgence. Now, you may be thinking to yourselves, 2016, there was a really popular wizarding series that was out about then, right? Well, you would be correct. However, even though 2 of J.K. Rowling's Wizarding World books did sell more in 2016, they were not classified as children's fiction title. Well, you know, there's often heated discussions around book banning. But do you know what the most banned classic book is, according to the Guinness World Record? Well, that distinction goes to The Great Gatsby, published in 1924 by F. Scott Fitzgerald. Well, I said that we celebrate all kinds of writing, so what is the highest New York Times best-selling mashup novel? Well, a mashup novel is a work of fiction that takes a classic, out-of-print, out-of-copyright book, and a current modern author will write mashing the two together. That's a mashup novel. Well, the highest that a mashup novel has ever ranked on the New York Times bestseller list is number 3, and that distinction goes to the book published in 2009 called Pride and Prejudice Zombies. Of course, it's a mashup of Jane Austen's work along with futuristic zombies and the demise of civilization. I have not read this one, but I have a friend who has and said she actually liked it, and she's a big Jane Austen fan. So maybe it's one that you want to add to your to-be-read list for 2025. Okay, so the last world record holder for writers that I want to talk about today is the record holder for the highest charting holiday song. Do you know what it is? I bet you do. The highest charting holiday song on Billboard's US Hot 100 by a solo artist was Mariah Carey's All I Want for Christmas Is You. But that's not the only record she set with that song. She's also earned the most streamed track from Spotify in 24 hours and the most weeks on the UK's singles top 10 chart for Christmas songs. That makes me want to go and listen to a little Christmas music with a cup of hot cocoa. Well, if that doesn't put you in the Christmas spirit, I don't know what will. I hope you have a happy holidays, and I will see you next week with another writing video. Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas.